taught PEMDAS that's different in 7th grade? Jonah?
It's grouping, so parentheses.
Yeah, parentheses, or we're going to see something a little different today. Grouping is number 1, top of the pyramids. Right, grouping. What's the second thing you're looking for? Sometimes it appears, other times it won't. What's the second thing? Starts with an E. Rhymes with nexponents. Hayden.
It was like it vowel turns or something like that.
Close. Expo.
Oh.
Cooper?
Exponent.
Exponents. And that's that little number at the top. It's like floating there. Yeah, Cooper?
My mom also taught me that, because I was telling the school that it could also mean evaluate.
Evaluate, sure. Sure. That could work. I don't want you to forget about exponents, though, and they do kind of sneak in there every once in a while. The next one is M and D, which stands for multiplying or dividing. Why is that on the same level? Why don't I have a separate space for that, Parker?
Because you could do either, depending right and left.
It's not at separate level. You go left to right like you're reading a book. Multiply, then division, depending on where it's at. Lastly, you add and subtract. And that is your Great Pyramid of Genda. Sam has a great flag that has it on it. He just runs around. Cooper talking one. So let's take a look at this huge thing. Ugly. Just absolutely gross. What a problem. And there's a few things happening. I'm looking at grouping first. And I see right off the bat from Friday, there's parentheses. Let's clean that up. What is 15 minus 20? Silent hand, I'm thinking good versus bad. Good versus bad. Ty.
-5.
Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and write 27 minus, keep the parentheses, you're going to see why. 27 minus -5. Then we have -26 minus 6 plus 30. That problem looks a little nicer. Because I got rid of one number, but it still looks messy. And the reason it's messy is there's a second group here. Grouping can be either parentheses or it can be a fraction bar. This fraction bar, I need to have it just be a single line. I need to simplify until that fraction bar has a number on the top and a number on the bottom, and I can divide it. How would I simplify the top? What is 27 minus -5? Get ready to the cold call. If you don't have the answer, I'm just going to help you out. Kiana, what's 27 minus -5?
22.
Let's look at it again. I'm going to do this. Does that change your mind?
Yes.
Giant plus sign's going to make it, instead of fighting, it's banding. What is that going to be, Kiana?
32.
Great. Okay. So we're going to write it below it. 32 over, let's clean up the bottom. What is -26 minus 6? Sabrina. Say it again. Let's look at it again. These are bad guys. And they don't fight. They don't kill each other. You just kill a bad guy with a bad guy. What happens when they band, Sabrina? Say it again. Great. And it's a bad guy, right? Go ahead and write it down like that. -32 plus 30 is the last thing I have to do to clean up the bottom. What is -32 plus 30? We fight, and Georgia, who wins? Good or bad?
Bad.
So I have 32 over -2. This was your first step. This was your second step. Now I have two numbers, and this looks a lot less intimidating. I can actually look at that and say, what's 32 divided by 2? In my head, I'm thinking, if you're not sure mentally, we can do some scratch work. What would 32 divided by 2 turn into? What is 32 divided by 2? Aaron, take a guess.
16.
And if you can't do mental math, like Mr. MacD couldn't do that, I don't have that memorized, we're going to do some long division right to the side. Set up a division box, put 32 inside. 3 divided by 2 can only fit in one time, so I'm going to put a 1 there, bring down the 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I'm looking through my long division. I agree with Aaron, this is 16. Is it good or is it bad, Hunter? Is it a good guy or a bad guy for my answer? Look at your division problem.
I don't even know.
Think about Sam. He says same is good, different is bad. Are those signs the same or are those signs different?
Different.
I'm gonna give
those
Hunter.
ones they are, but on those ones they are. Which one is we looking at?
This is our problem.
Okay, so now,
And what would the answer be?
-16.
Beautiful. Make sure that negative goes there. Always look at your original problem and circle it. Skip number 2 for right now. Go to number 3. Number 3, don't cross out 2. Like I said, whenever we skip a problem, we might come back to it. So just review for a test. Number 3 looks even more daunting because there are 3 separate things happening. It's not just one giant division bar. I'm going to look at that and look at my groups and try to simplify as much as I can. What is the first thing I can simplify on the top here? Jonah?
21 plus 15, or yeah.
Great. That's a not sign, so let's do 21 plus 15. Write that on the top. 21 plus 15 is what, Jonah? Keep going.
36.
Great. I'm going to keep the 6 on the bottom. Then I have -80 divided by -16. Let's clean up the 36 divided by 6. Meadow, what's 36 divided by 6? I'm going to think 6 times what is 36? Just take a guess. 6 times 6? That's correct. So what's 36 divided by 6, Meadow?
What?
You just said it. What is 36 divided by 6? Yeah. So let's put a 6 there. Okay, so this group just got simplified. I'm happy because he's a number. What would 80 divided by 16 be? I don't know in my head. That's a huge number. Let's take a guess. What would I multiply 16 by to get to 80? Silent hand, just give me a number. We're going to guess and check. I don't have that memorized. This division fact is way too big for me, but I'm going to guess. What could I do? What could I multiply 16 by to get to 80? Anthony, give me a number.
5.
Silent hand, if you agree with that. If you have a different one, silent hand. What were you going to do, Chico?
Wait, what?
16 times what instead of 5?
16 times 7.
Okay, can you try 7 on your paper? I'm going to do 5. We'll see who's closer. Aaron, what were you going to do?
4.
Okay, you do 16 times 4, see if you're closer. If you're not Aaron or Chico, you're going to do 16 times 5 right now. Write this on your page to the side, board the paper. 16 times 5, we're going to multiply this out and see if we get 80. 5 times 6 is 30. Charge your computer. I will. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Did we get there?
Yes.
It is 80, so I know that this is a 5. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Why is it positive or 8?
Because it's division.
And what about the signs? Parker?
Same is good, different is bad.
These guys are negative, so it is a positive 5. You now have 3 numbers. It is 12 minus 6 times 5. The dot here, I mentioned this last week on Tuesday. This means multiplication. You're used to seeing an x, but when you get into algebra, 8th grade, they use x for something else. You're going to see that this year in Unit 5 as well. That dot now means multiplication. Okay, you're going to use both a dot and a times x sign, but starting next year, it will not be an x for multiplication. What would I do first? I'm thinking of the pyramid of GEMDAS. Do I subtract first or do I multiply first, Reagan?
You. No, multiply.
Agree with that, silent yes? Do we multiply first? I might be peeking through at my pyramid. I'm just mentally checking GEMDAS. It is multiply first, I agree. 6 times 5 is what, whole class?
30.
Is this a positive 30 or a negative 30? It is a negative 6 times 5. Same, good, different, bad. What's the answer, Kiana?
Negative 30.
This is a negative 30. Put the minus sign there. Bring down the 12. There's one more step to this huge, gigantic, kind of scary problem that we just conquered. What is 12 minus 30? Good guys versus bad guys. Raylan on task. Georgia.
-18.
The bad guys win. They win by 18. If you don't have that mentally checked off, like Mr. McAtee, I might need to do some work. That's your answer. Next page, please. No.